Hi there, I'm Peggy McColl, and I want to welcome you back to the Manifestation Podcast. And I am so excited about today's show because we are blessed with having Janet-Lynn Morrison with us today. And she has written a book that I absolutely love. There have been very few books, fiction books that is, that really caused me to dig in, dive in, page turner, can't put it down kind of book. And Janet-Lynn's is definitely one of those books. Her book is called Forever is Today, and it is now available. You can find it on Amazon. And I believe it's available on all the other Amazon sites around the world as well. But Janet-Lynn can enlighten us on that. So Janet-Lynn, I want to welcome you and thank you for investing the time to be with us today.
Thank you very much, Peggy, and I'm just so happy to be here. Thank you.
That's great. So is Forever is Today available on all the Amazon sites?
It is. I understand it's available in 15 countries, and it launched last week, and it's been a very exciting week. So I'm very excited that it's actually out there in people's hands. I keep having people text me and call me and send me pictures of them holding it. So it's really fun.
It's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, very, very exciting. You know what it's all about.
Right, of course. But there's so many different levels of experience that you go through with being an author, from first deciding you're going to write a book and then getting on with the work and then completing the book and then getting ready to bring it out to the world and then launching it and then the after fact. So you've been involved in all of that. But let's go back in time. Let's dive into what inspired you to write your book in the first place.
I've always wanted to write a book, and I've been writing ever since I was a child. And it was just something that I kept thinking about. And in the back of my mind, I had that little voice saying, who wants to read what you're going to write? And why do you think that you can do this? And I'm a very determined person. I'm very tenacious. And I'm the kind of person that once I set my mind to something and I visualize it and I see it every day and I even talk about it to some people, I put it out there and I say, guess what? I'm going to write a book and it's going to be done in 6 weeks. Well, it will be done in 6 weeks. So I started to look into various courses and different things that would help me to expand my knowledge. And that's when I came upon your course. And it was very, very instrumental in getting this book down on paper and out into the world. So I wanted to thank you so much.
Oh, that is so great. I love that. I think one of my greatest thrills is when I see my clients, that go through the complete author program and they follow through, they get their book done. And I also love it when they share it with me, and especially when it's good, because they're not all good. So yours is extremely well written. I believe it's well written. It's also the kind of book that I would likely read again. It's kind of like you see a movie, like a movie that you love, and you're willing to watch it again. And which reminds me, actually, all kinds of questions are coming. Have you ever seen a traffic jam where all kinds of cars are trying to get onto the highway at the same time? That's what's going on in my mind right now. All these questions I want to ask you, but the one that's really pressing and pushing the hardest is your book being made into a movie? Is that already in the works?
It is most definitely in the works. I'm getting ready to send my invitations out. Not quite, right. I'm just joking, but yes, it is in the works and I'm very much excited about the prospects. I understand it takes a long time and I'm not the most patient person in the world, but I'm working on it and I'm doing a lot of what I've learned really helps, and that is to see it. I see it as a movie. I hold the book and I remember, I close my eyes, I remember the different scenes. I actually wrote it as though I was watching a movie. And I'm very excited. I'm sending out some gifts to the different people who are involved just to remind them about what a special project this is. And I'm just going to wait and keep on putting it out there and meeting new people and getting the resources all around me.
Yeah, well, you wait as the one who understands, right? Like that, that basically says that you know how it works to manifest something into your life. I totally see your movie or your book as a movie. And even as I was reading it, it's written so visually that you can see it in your mind's eye. Yeah. And as you know, I wrote Savvy Wisdom not that long ago. And I wrote it the same way so that people could see it in their mind's eye. And I find that is the most effective way to write, because it appeals to the reader. And, as much as I teach, how to market your book and get it out there in the world, the other and the most effective way to have a book go viral is through what's called word of mouth. Now, in order to get the word of mouth going on, we as an author have to get the books out there into the world so that, people can read them and then they'll want to tell their friends. And so that's what I believe your book has. It has a definite word of mouth appeal because it's so good. And as you know, I sent it to a producer in Hollywood after I read it because I just felt so strongly that this is going to be a movie. And it does take time because the screenplay is being written right now for Savvy Wisdom. And
Oh,
I was told the other day that I can expect that the movie will move into production in the fall of 2022. So we're talking
oh,
another, year and a half before they even move into production. So, and of course I worked very closely with Phil, so I have a much better understanding of how it works in Hollywood and co-deliver a program with him called Getting Into Hollywood. So it's great. You're right. I'm very much like you as well. I want something, I want it now. It's, call it impatient, call it what you want. I was listening to another interview that you did where you talked about even as a child, you were like that. So was I, constantly getting in trouble, conflict with parents because, I was called the brat. If I wanted something, I went for it. But I really believe, Janet-Lynn, knowing what I know now, being at this point in my life, that definitely serves you. I find that you get so much more done by having that type of attitude, by being driven, by not being concerned what other people think. I mean, you're heart-centered and you're doing good work in the world, but you don't have to be concerned about what other people think. So
right.
after you wrote, well, actually, what inspired you? Where did the story come from? Was it something you just made up, or did some of this happen in your life some way or someone's life, and that's where you got your inspiration for your story?
Well, I'm a romantic at heart, first of all. I love romance stories, and it's difficult to find really, really good ones. So I'm always thinking about romance and beautiful love stories. And the girl on the front cover of the book is actually one of my daughters. I have three of them, and
Oh,
Maddie is on the front cover, and she's 20. And 5 years ago, she was diagnosed with an illness, and so the inspiration to write the book was my own desire to write, but my daughters are my life. Being
yeah.
a mom has been the greatest gift I've ever had, and they're beautiful, those girls, all three of them. And so I was really admiring Maddie and her journey on the past 5 years, and just how strong she is and how hopeful she is. She's working on healing her body. She's right now in the other room, she's doing the Dr. Joe course, and we're going to be going to
Perfect.
one of his events this year. And she's just not stopping. She's not making a new plan exactly. She's just being so hopeful, and she loves to speak, and she's speaking out, and she's bringing awareness to this autoimmune hepatitis that she has. And I wanted to help her do that. I wanted to explain to the world what it was and bring an awareness, and also to help people to read a story and be strong. She's very strong. Strength really runs in our family. And I love how strong she is. And I want other people who get knocked down in the prime of their life to realize that that's not the end, and that they can still pull so much out of themselves and rely on family and friends, and just really live life and squeeze the juice, every single drop out of life every day.
Oh, so true, and such valuable lessons. As I'm listening to you, Janet-Lynn, I have goosebumps, the good kind, of
Mhm.
course, and is absolutely true. And I just love how you're inspired by a wonderful purpose, a wonderful reason. I feel the same way. Being a mom is the greatest gift I've ever been given. Being a grandma is just as wonderful. It's so exciting too. And so we can use that, we can have that be like our push or inspiration or reason to being. I think it really adds to our energy of what we're doing as well. It reminds me of that quote by Patanjali that says, when one is inspired by some great purpose, all our boundaries break their bonds. You discover yourself
Mm.
in a whole new wonderful world that you never imagined yourself to be in. because
Right.
you followed your purpose, and that's what you did. You followed
Mhm.
your purpose. And so, and I can see how Maddie's story would be an inspiration as well. And your book is inspiring too. You know, I won't give anything away, but there's valuable lessons in that as well, as, you know, and Savvy Wisdom was written in that way too. And I think it also really comes back to who you are and how you show up in the world with the other things that you're doing. So it's a nice blend. It really is
Mhm.
a wonderful blend. Do you have a plan to write another book?
I just finished one last night. I'm not even kidding you. So this next one is a nonfiction book, and I already have another fiction book that I started a couple of weeks ago. So it's not too far ahead. I wanted to finish the nonfiction, but I'm very excited about it, and it's really going to be something different too.
Isn't that amazing? You know, the thing is, it's such an interesting journey being an author, because when I wrote my first book, which was many years ago now, almost 20 years ago now, you know, I really just thought that was the only book that I was going to write. I wasn't thinking beyond that. And
Hmm.
unlike you, I didn't have the desire all my life to write. I just popped in my head and I acted on it. So when I released my first book, within 11 months, I released two other books. So three books I released in 11 months.
Oh,
And
wow.
I think it's kind of like an addiction
I think so.
being an author, right? It's so incredibly rewarding. How have you found that you becoming an author and writing your book and getting it out there in the world, how has it positively affected you personally with how you feel about yourself, perhaps?
It really has brought home the fact that it's going to sound a little cliche, but I've arrived.
Mm,
I feel like I have a new kind of confidence,
yes,
and it's like I have a different colored glasses that I'm looking through. I just feel um, just like I've done something important. I've done something special. I've reached for something, and I finished it. I completed it. I've come to the end of it, and it just feels so good to actually do that. Like the confidence that comes with finishing something is just unbelievable. And that's what I'm all about, is living for the now, in the present moment. And again, all of my friends and family know, anyone that knows me, when I say I'm going to do that, I do it. I've jumped out of planes. I've swam with sharks. I've done all kinds of different things. And I think that's what life is all about, is just to experience things. And this has been a wonderful thing. And I love to try to inspire people around me and say, because they all say, you've probably heard before, oh, I could never write a book. How did you
right.
do that? Where do you find the time? And I say, well, I wake up at 5 a.m. and I make the time, and
Right.
I'll rest someday, when I'm dead or something like that. But anyone can do it. And I just really hope that I can inspire some people to actually sit down and do it.
Perfect. I love that.
Yeah.
And everyone should. You're absolutely right. It's like Bob Proctor says, everyone has a book in them. And it's
Hmm.
true. Or 19 or 20. Like I just finished my
Yeah.
19th book. So it's absolutely true. So that's positively affected you. I found the same thing. I talk about that as well and help people understand how it affects your confidence. It's not why people write a book, but when they do, they're going to find that they're going to feel better about themselves, because it is a great sense of accomplishment.
Hmm.
Now, how has writing your book and releasing your book and bringing it out to the world, how has that positively impacted your daughters or your husband? Or have they been positively impacted?
I think so. I think that deep down I can see it in their faces when they watch me and they hear the interviews that I've been doing, and they see that look of satisfaction. I think they have some admiration, and that feels really, really good. My youngest daughter is 16, and she has a gift with words, as does my oldest daughter. They all have gifts like that. And I think that my oldest daughter is very interested in writing. And so it just really brings another perspective. And they see me as a woman that gets things done. And I think it's just wonderful to be admired in that way. And it's just a great feeling, because I can only share those things with them, and everything that comes out of this experience, they get to experience as well. So it's just really wonderful to put that out there and share it with them.
That's beautiful. I really believe that people don't understand the ripple effect of the benefit when you do become an author and you accomplish that yourself and for others in your family as well, and where it can potentially go. We're talking about movies and another book, a nonfiction, another fiction. Have you found that being an author has helped you with business in any way?
Yeah, definitely. Some people need to see what you're doing in order to feel impacted by what you're doing. And I am a business owner too. I own a couple of boutique gyms. And even though we've been on and off clothes and that sort of thing, we still arrive 6 days a week and we do our thing, and we're always reaching out to people. And so now that many of my members have bought my book, which is wonderful, and have read it, they just look at me and they say like, wow, how do you do this? And it's almost like I'm validated in a sense, if you know what I mean. And it's really been remarkable, and it's only just starting. We just reopened on Tuesday, a couple of days ago, and it's just wonderful how people are learning about what I'm doing and finding me as an author, and then looking more into me, and then finding out that I have a gym, and people are emailing me and messaging me and saying, would you have 5 minutes to help me and tell me how I can do this? And it's what I want to do. My purpose is to help others. It's to inspire people to really enjoy this life. And that's what it's all about. And that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. So bring it on. I just want to help.
That's great. Well, you can recommend them to the Complete Author Program and earn affiliate commission.
Oh, we'll have to talk about that. That's a great
Definitely.
idea. I will do
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. It's a very, very healthy affiliate program too. And there's very little you have to do, but you'll be very financially rewarded. So just go to the front page of my website, peggymccall.com. Right at the bottom of the first page, they'll, are you an affiliate or want to be one? Just click on that, become an affiliate, and you'll see inside. Everything's there. So it's already ready. So I
I
want
will
to
do
ask,
that today.
excellent. Okay, good. You're an action woman, so I totally know that you're going to do that. I want to also touch on something you had mentioned that I know that a lot of people have when they're thinking about becoming an author, or even after they choose to become an author, is you mentioned how you had some negative thoughts, which, many people have, or could be self-limiting thoughts of who would want to read my book, and why, why would I write a book, and who am I to write a book? I had that, almost every author I talk to has gone through that experience. So what was your process to overcome that potential self-limiting belief?
I had thought about it, as you know, for such a long time. And I looked back on my life, I looked back on my accomplishments, and I thought about the fact that I've always had somewhat of a notion that I didn't accomplish a whole lot. I know that I did. And it's almost like when you do a public speaking event or something like that, and you just feel like, I didn't get my arm bitten off by a shark. I'm not in a wheelchair. You can't see where I've been and what I've done. A lot of people get stuck in society trap of assuming, and they look at you and they kind of, in one quick glance think that they've figured you all out. So I spent a lot of time thinking about what I'd done, and I realized I know what my event that would replace getting my arm bitten off by a shark is. It's been 50 years of living impossibly and being tenacious and sticking with things and forgiving people, forgiving myself, and understanding that it isn't just going to school, being a part of academia. It isn't being a great student, because many of us are not meant to be in a schoolroom with teachers telling you what to do. And I know from everything that I've heard you say, as well as Bob Proctor, that school was not something that you really enjoyed. And I'm right there with you.
I did
And
not
so,
enjoy it at all.
yeah, there's so many different types of learning. And I thought, I have read more books than anyone I know. I have an amazing imagination, and I jotted down all of the different things that I was really good at. And I wrote short stories, and I I practiced. And I really firmly believe that anyone can do anything. It's really unlimited. If you want to do something, like I don't play golf, but if I wanted to play golf, I would just have to go out there and start learning how to play golf, practicing how to play golf, and continue to practice. And failure, I love failure. I love being an epic failure. I move towards failure. It's our greatest blessing to fail and learn and then try it again. And every single time you try it again, you get a little bit more information, you get a little bit better at it, and that feels great. So I don't mind failure at all. And that's what I did. That was my process. I realized, yes, I do. And then the other thing, I remember these words. I don't know where I heard them, but it could have been from Bob, it could have been you. And it is none of my business what somebody else thinks of me.
Mm-hmm.
That has helped me and my daughters get through so much, because being able to shed yourself from that idea of, oh my gosh, what's that person going to think? Or, oh no, what are they going to think when they read my book? And for about a moment before the day that my book launch happened last week, I had a, oh no, how do I stop this from happening? People are actually going to read it. And what are they going to think? Maybe some people aren't going to like it. And I wanted to thank you, Peggy, because knowing that you loved it and you sharing how you felt and how it made you cry and the emotion, that really, really helped me to remember, no, this is a good story. Yes, I know what I'm doing. This is great. And this is happening, and it's going to be wonderful. And it was a real gift for you to read it. And I'm just so happy. And I'm really happy for all of you out there who are going to take Peggy's course and believe in yourselves and listen to this podcast and other ones that Peggy has over and over, and just keep on believing in you, and you'll go far.
Wow. Great message, Janet-Lynn. So perfect. And what a great way to wrap up today's podcast. So for everyone listening, I absolutely recommend that you get a copy of Janet-Lynn Morrison's book. If you want to go to her website, it's janet-lynn.com. And her book is called Forever is Today. And you can find it on any of the Amazon sites. And from a personal experience of reading it, I loved it. I recommend it to other people. It's a fabulous book. And I do want to say this, like, I work with hundreds and hundreds of authors. I don't read all their books, but yours, Janet-Lynn, really spoke to me. Of course, my sister, Judy from Hasmark, said to me, she says, you must read this book. She said, it's so good. And Judy works with hundreds of authors as well. She had read your book, loved it, printed out a copy for me before it was even released, and brought it to me. So it was so good. Anyways, such a pleasure to be with you today, Janet-Lynn. Thank you so much for sharing from your heart. Thank you for writing Forever is Today. Such a brilliant book. And my only wish for you is even more success for you in the future as an author and in everything that you're doing, because you absolutely deserve it. I know you're inspiring others to follow their dreams as well. And for any of the listeners that are on our podcast today, if you want to write a book, check out thecompleteauthorprogram.com. And we called it that for a very good reason. Everything you need to know about writing your book or your next one is included in the Complete Author Program. So thank you again, Janet-Lynn. I look forward to seeing you again real soon.
Thank you, and congratulations on your book. And thank you, Judy.
Thank you.